Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we're going to look at this whole system of sampling and expansions and how this has sort of changed everything for me. And but I want to start off to say that I have I didn't have a real deep history in sampling. I didn't do it in the 80s and 90s. I was a hardware person, but sampling was just something I just didn't do. And it really wasn't until about a year and a half ago is when I really got into it by necessity and had no plans on doing anything other than just capturing some of my favorite drum sounds so I could go on the road. And I had an MPC Live at the time. And that's kind of where it really started. And I remember posting on YouTube, look at this, I got these cool drums, because I had bought some drums from the MPC store. It was like $80. I hated them, by the way. It wasn't like the plugins that I had used, or like the SRX cards that I had in my Roland stuff. And so that moment was a very pivotal moment that served as the springboard for me to just cross that bridge and getting into sampling actual sounds and key groups. Okay, and then from there, it went from like, oh, I want this one electric piano sound or this one piano sound, and I went and did it, and it was good enough for what it was. And one day, someone on YouTube, I posted it, said, look what I did. And said, well, how do you get that? And I was like, what? How do you get what? And all that. So I said, well, just send me a donation, whatever it was at the time. And then another person from Birmingham, England, reached out, and then someone else reached out. And by that time, I had just learned how to make a basic expansion pack. No previews, just real basic stuff. And realized that maybe I'm onto something. Maybe there is actual real purpose for putting your sounds into here. It just needs the time and the willingness and the commitment to do it. And over the past year and 7 months, I'm going to say, sampling has become something that I gotten really good at, which means if I can do it, you can do it. All right, so we're going to go through, and then I'll comment on a few things as we go, if I can think of it as I go. So one of the advantages of having your sounds in, and specifically the MPC, but in whether you're using Contact, Halion, is you get the sound sort of, especially the MPC, the sounds actually save in the project, your actual samples. And that's where the MPC sort of sets itself a little bit further than the other samplers like Presence XT, the EXS24. Because what happens is you got your source, and then you have what would be your destination, what ultimately is your project folder. And you have sort of this interim where you draw the sample from the source into a project, goes into RAM, and then when you save your project, not just does the sound and the patch save, but the samples save too. So this new expansion system is sort of more of an advanced version of what I had before, but I no longer have the 50 expansions in the way it used to be. And so, for example, I can go in here and I'm going to load an old song from 6 or 7 months ago that used the old expansion system. And you're going to see, because it's drawing not from the expansion, is drawing from the project folder, that this should load just fine. This is an old project I did, and you can see everything loads just fine. And so what's nice is that and I hope they don't change this. I'll go back to just a blank template. So I hope Akai never changes this. I like the idea that you can take a project and archive it. So number one, archiving is one of the advantages. Specifically, there could be other systems out there that do it the same way, but I like that about this. The second thing I like about this is that for me as a hardware person, I still kind of have that connection with hardware, and I like software, and this has that connection with the hardware and software. So even though I got rid of a lot of the hardware that I got, like the synths and stuff, I don't have a whole lot left here in the studio, I still have this connection with this. This is a hardware piece. I can use it as standalone, and all my sound studio is in there. I got an MPC keys over there, or if you had a Akai Force, you can load these sounds, and no matter what form factor, you have your whole studio underneath your arm, which is fantastic. All right. So project compatibility and archive is fantastic. The second part, so let's go into the Roland pack. I'm going to go into the module. So now, the next thing is I like to look at some of these sounds as sort of just basic building blocks. So here's... And you can program your own effects, which I have a multi-tap delay on here. And they'll always will load. If you want to program a different version that's got like reverb or something on it, you can do that too and save it back into the expansion. So that's like a niche case scenario where you would actually save backwards to the source as opposed to a project. I use a special pack called the EXS pack, and I use that as my experimental. This sound lived in the EXS pack for a long time because I was experimenting. This sound was actually resampled by using a sampling session I did from the K5000 and the JD990, and I kept on layering that sound, and I can still do that, but I used it so much I said, you know, I'm just going to resample everything and just make it one sound, which is what I did. And these were, like I said, this is my experimental expansion pack, and where I experiment with different sounds and use them. And when I think that they're at a mature state, I'll filter it back down to an actual expansion, like over here. So this tour is really long, so let's just get to it here. So I had loaded this. Now, when I think of these as building blocks, I think of this as, so let me give you an example. This might make a sound that would work good in a layer. So let's just take an acoustic piano, real basic. So I'm going to load this JP Grand. All right. So JP Grand is a real nice woody piano sample, and I redid this. This was an old sample from the old pack, and I resampled and added some woody qualities to it. This really sounds nice. And all I have to do is just go in here and just stack cold ice and experiment with the stacking. And this is just a layer. I'm playing it from the controller, 88 key controller. And what's cool about the system is if you can hear it, you can record. So if I just hit record, and just record it. And it's all, like I said, and at this stage, if I wanted to quit, I can save it, and these sounds will actually save to the folder, which maybe I'll demonstrate. But the sounds are like right at your fingertips. So if I go into a drum kit, just pick a drum track, or a track with drum that I have, that's 4 drums, okay? And here they are right here. All right. One of the cool things, this is a very ambiguous tour. One of the cool things is in the studio guitar, bass, and synth bass pack, I have a new set of basses called Expressive Basses. And what they do, it's a little different. So I've got the traditional basses that always have been in my expansions. This one's designed to hold the sustain pedal so that you could get legato, and it doesn't really take a whole lot to get used to. So normally you have clicks, pops, and slides that inhabit like a scripting zone, like in Contact. This is more for people that are playing. So maybe I can just show this here on the keyboard live. So I'm going to load so I'll load this A game bass right here. And so I'm just going to put on a bass track and play from here. So what you're going to notice is if I hold the sustain pedal and I continually hold it, I'm not going to take my foot off of it. And I put the mutes at a lower velocity instead of off to the left or right. So that way I don't have to reach over with my left hand and learn how to play the articulations as much. So now if I take my foot out the sustain pedal, I can control it so it's like the opposite. But what works and it just deactivates the slides. So if I record, see if I can do something here. So as you can see, I just got a stack, this new bass system, and a drum sound. And it's already, and if I were to save this, it's going to go right to the folder. And so when I think of like as a starting point, so let me just put this lead here. Think of these as a starting point. Let's pull up So Much. This is a new sound, Quantum Lead. And we'll pop that over here. And let's see, Synth Lead. And we'll just enable both of these. And I'll pop in let's say from the K5000. Nifsick. Like I said, it's like I don't have to run over and go to the mixer and get more and plug in a channel. It's just really, it's just unprecedented. Could not be any more pleased. So here we go. One sound. And a little bit of this. And it just endless. All right. There's another, and I'll have to conclude this video soon. There's some cool additions, and I'm going to show you a quick peek. This Urban Brazil guitar. It's a new addition. And standard Brazil. And you can go bananas and layer these. It's really cool. This Eric Johnson clean. It's fantastic. This is a brand new guitar. Landau's. So if I were to go, so the Eric Johnson clean uses a lot of samples from different sources to kind of get that unique sound. If I go into here to the guitar, so it sounds like this. This Urban Brazil. So, in the case of this song here, this guitar really does. What's cool is you can actually, like this video, like I said, you could go along forever. But by going to D50, I put float whistle and layer it. Let's see what happens on this. And we'll go back to here. Typically, something I would not do. But that is cool. So what I did is I loaded float whistle and Brazil guitar. These are combinations, again, like I said, it's just the very scratching point, tipping point of what the potential could be. It just goes on and on. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The sampling project is pretty much done. Only thing I'm going to do is a sound here and there. Like I said, it'll probably go in the EXS pack until I decide it goes anywhere else. But There's a lot to discover. For me, it's pretty much fully baked. And so, and I'll leave a link down there if you're interested in more information on these expansions. So until next time, peace out.